everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to talk to you about a Leeds United based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here, accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99, and I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here, a beautiful image, really good quality as well, by the way, and of course the title winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff, and they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site, so make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Yes, everybody, what's going on? I hope you're doing fantastically well. It's a bit of a different one today, isn't it? In terms of feelings and you know, a little bit of, you know, encouragement and all this sort of stuff off the back of a disappointing 2-1 loss yesterday. But there are plenty of positives to take out of the game last night. Just a little note on the watch along. Absolutely no idea what had happened to it. Went back and started looking through it, and it was glitching. Not sure what all that's about. That's never happened to me before. So absolutely gutted. I had to take it down. We were on 14,000 views, which was absolutely massive, which is great for a one-off special. But those of you who tuned in will have watched it anyway. But it's just, it's annoyed me massively that we can't have it on the channel anymore. For some reason, it's just decided to glitch up, and I had to get rid of it. So that's clearing that one up, but I hope you're all doing really well anyway. There's a lot of people talking about Palace already. We will have your Palace previews coming up. Protect Raphinha at all costs. This needs to be something on the club crest now. I think this needs to be on the city walls or something like that. We just have to protect him. Hi Connor, you all right, mate? Love the watch along. Your dad said what we should do, and you said go home. Yeah, it's a relationship me and my dad have. Always disagreeing. Hannah Lucy, fan of the channel. I took yesterday as a free hit. First half cost us the game, but still lots of positives from yesterday. And I agree. I think, listen, that second half was absolutely brilliant. It really was. Like, and we're going to go through it anyway, but there were so many positives. I want to start on the positives because naturally what I like to do on my channel is end with positives. It's like a bit of a sandwich. We'll start okay, you know, we'll get to the meaty, not so good stuff, and then we'll end high. But I want to start high today. I can only reflect really on the second half. I can only reflect on the fact that their goalkeeper had his best performance this season statistically. WhoScored.com rated him, I think it was a 7.87. Somehow I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin got a higher rating than him, which for me wasn't the case at all. Aside from his goal, I thought Liam Cooper and Pascal Stroik did a really good job on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I thought he was relatively quiet again. I think it was, as I've said, it was a game of two halves, but I thought their keeper was absolutely fantastic. I thought he was man of the match, and that says a lot. And Everton fans' reaction, I went on an Everton fan channel last night, Blue Boys Network, go check it out. I went on that channel after the game and we were talking through it. And I said, I don't think you deserve that. I don't think you deserved it. I think the second half, Everton were probably turning around and saying, look, we're just protecting the lead and we're not going to come out and do anything. And I understand that, you know, they did it against Leicester, but this is a newly promoted Leeds side. You've got, what, altogether about £500 million pounds worth of player in your squad. And, you know, we don't at all. We're nowhere near that. And we push them right to the edge. And if you're looking at it right now, we're as good as Everton. And for me, if you look at that game and you look at the Leicester game, don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of bad results this season for Leeds, but in general, we've done so well. If you're a Premier League side and you're in the top 6, top 8, top 10, and you're seeing Leeds United with a majority, 80-85% championship side, and we're still doing this to teams, we're still pushing teams, we're still attacking teams, we're still this new breed of team which teams in the Premier League haven't seen before. If we add 4 or 5 Raphinha caliber players to that squad, which teams in the top 6, top 8, top 10 have all over the pitch, we're going to be frightening in the years to come. We're going to be absolutely frightening. And I really think that's something to hold on to. I think the fact that we matched Everton over 2 games, it's 2-2 over aggregate. They've got Carlo Ancelotti, who's won absolutely everything. As I've said, they've got £500 million quid's worth of squad. They've got one of the richest owners in world football. And we've gone there. We've played them twice. We shouldn't have lost last night, in my opinion. And in the first game, I thought we were the better side than them in that game, if that makes sense. But I thought in this game, it really was a game of 2 halves. So, as Bobby says, sitting back and protecting a 1-goal lead against the newly promoted team is just a massive compliment to us, really. And I completely agree with what Bobby said. It was... We were just pushing them the whole way. They didn't get out the second half. And if you look at it realistically, I think they had a chance where they went through, didn't they? Dominic Calvert-Lewin was 1-on-1, but that's when we were pressing. We're all, I think that's the first time they got out of the box, out of the half, really, in terms of that second half when we were camping them in. Obviously, we had all of our players going forward. The hitters on the counter-attack, brilliant save from Meslier. But I just wanted to say that, we're 11th in the league. The beauty of yesterday, we might have lost the game, but the beauty was, in my personal opinion, I still look at teams like Fulham. I still think that's the blueprint. I want to stay in this division. Fulham lost, so nothing's changed. If anything, it's more of an advantage for Leeds United because teams around us have lost and Fulham haven't gained anything, and we're a game down. We're a game down. We're a game nearer to the end of the season. We're a game nearer to safety in the Premier League, which is the utmost importance. So the start of the game, the lineup, I was really happy. It was really nice to see Raphinha in the starting lineup. He's our main man. We saw it once again last night. I think last night was probably the biggest indicator to maybe a lot of fans who don't think he's the best player in the squad, that he is by a considerable margin. He is a game changer. He's a game winner by himself, and you saw that last night. I feel if we'd have had 2 or 3 more Raphinhas on the pitch, 2 or 3 more Raphinhas in the final third last night, we'd have won that game. He's just absolute. The fact that we've got him for 16, 17 million it's the bargain of the season. I think he's going to get, what have we got, 16, 17 games left? Imagine how many goals and assists he's going to get. And I thought he was dragging us through it last night. Absolutely dragging us through it. He was trying to get us back into it. He wanted the ball. He was running at Everton. He was doing that against Leicester as well. And they weren't comfortable. I think they doubled up on him for a large part of the first half as well. And the second half, there's one where he was trying to skill past about 3 players. And that's the respect he's given. They know he's the danger man. So, yeah, it's just such a shame we couldn't do it for Rafa last night. So I feel like he was on fire. He was absolutely on fire. And I think he deserves something more than that. But as I said, you look at that triple save from Olsen, and it's going to be in the saves of the season. The triple save was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable from Olsen, and fair play from the Swede, because he's come in. If Jordan Pickford's in net last night, we win that game. We comfortably win that game for me. I think on another day, Leeds United score 3 or 4. Bamford hits the bar. Alioski hits the post. We had chances, and it was a really good performance. What I'm really liking at the minute as well, the set pieces, aside from the goals, which we're going to go through in a bit, the set piece, obviously, which was a lapse in concentration, but in general, going forward last night, we looked more dangerous. Pascal forced a really good save from Olsen, from Robin Olsen. And I just think in both boxes, generally, we're looking much better. We're looking much better from set pieces. I think Struijk's getting more and more confident. I think Cooper's not getting enough credit for me. He's kept Callum Wilson quiet twice, really. And I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, aside from his goal, which was one of our individual errors, Leeds beating Leeds again, he wouldn't have got that, and he'd have had a really quiet game. So, yeah, there are loads of positives. Just to put a stat out there as well, we had 16 shots last night and 12 on target. Which is absolutely unbelievable, and that just shows what a cracking game Olsen had, and, how he had to really be at his best to keep out Leeds United. We had 3 shots on target in 1 attacking phase. So yeah, there was a lot of really good performances last night, in my opinion. I mean, the first half. So let's just get into the meat of things because we're here to talk about football, aren't we, guys? And I'll get to your comments in just a little while. But as I said, the lineup I was really happy with. I was really positive. It was great to see Raphinha in there. Great to see Bamford in there. I thought it was our strongest lineup. I saw Sigurdsson in there. I saw Andre Gomez in there. Absolute classic Connor. What did he do? He tweeted out. He said, "I think we're going to win tonight. I think we're going to win tonight. I think we can run down Sigurdsson and Andre Gomez." And how wrong was I? And this is why I don't come on this channel and I don't come on and always predict wins because I always seem to get it wrong. I thought Gomez and Sigurdsson completely ran the first half. They dictated the tempo. They dictated the play. Calvin couldn't get near to Sigurdsson, which I found surprising. And I know he had an injury in the warm-up, so I don't know whether or not he was feeling something in his hip, but he couldn't get to grips with him. Sigurdsson was spinning him. I think he got 2 free kicks off him as well. And the goal was, I think, you'll have seen it on the watch along last night. The reason I was so angry at that for both goals really is because on a generalised look at things, we're doing exceptionally well. But Leeds United can eradicate those errors from our game. And as I was talking against Leicester about us maybe not needing that next quality of player, because guess what? We're able to do that to Leicester. We're able to do that to Villa. I think the thing what you've got to contextualise is doing that consistently is what makes the top players. It's what makes the top quality players in the Premier League. It's not just about doing it against Leicester and having an unbelievable game, doing it against Villa and having an unbelievable game, but having 4 games off it a little bit. It's doing it every other game. It's having a very, very good 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performance in the Premier League every other game. And I think that's the difference. And in the first half, you just cannot be sloppy in the Premier League because you get punished. And it was ruthless in that first half. They didn't really do much. I don't think Leicester, I don't think they were outplaying us. Raphinha had that chance within about 2 minutes. Alioski hit the post. But it was flat from Leeds, especially if you compare that to the 2 halves we played against Leicester, especially if you compare that to the second half we played against Everton. And that was the real frustrating aspect of it for me. Sigurdsson gets past Calvin Phillips. He gets past Calvin Phillips and he steams in Dean's ball in. He tucks it away and it's 1-0. And you're thinking to yourself, well, what are Everton going to do here? They're going to sit back. And that's what we were speaking about in the preview with Michael. That's what Everton do. They'll try to protect a lead. It's how Carlo Ancelotti sets up his team, which is great. It's worked for him. There's got to be a lot of respect to Everton as well, because they've been on a very good run of form. Newcastle was a bit of an outlier, but aside from that, they've had a very good run of form. They're a very good team. And the fact that we went blow for blow with them over 2 games and there wasn't much difference for me at all. I would actually say out of the 4 halves we've played, if it was a boxing match, I think we'd have won it. You know what I mean? I think we were up on 3 of the halves. I think they had their first half last night. That's not sour grapes. I thought Everton dug in. They had a game plan. They didn't even have James Rodriguez on the bench, but that's the depth and the caliber that they have within their ranks, which is testament to them being a Premier League side. But we can't really compare with that because we've been in the doldrums of the Football League for 16 years. So there's got to be a lot of credit given to Leeds, but ultimately there's got to be a lot of credit to Everton as well for getting the job done. So I just want to say that there's no, I think Everton are a very good club and they grinded it out last night and they've got a big, big win. So yeah, and I appreciate this from Matty here, an Everton fan. That Raphinha you lot signed his class with a better striker and centre half. Leeds get into Europe, and I've seen a lot of really complimentary things from Everton fans, because this is what I was saying. If you've just joined the stream, and hello and welcome if you have. But imagine this side with the same caliber of players that Raphinha is. That same caliber. If we can keep hold of Raphinha somehow, which I think is going to be a massive struggle, if we can keep hold of him. The sentiment of the players that have got us up to the Premier League is great, but it's not going to get us consistently into a top half finish. That's just how it is. Sentiment goes out of the window when you're trying to stay in the top division. And when we get players like that and better players and players who can keep levels of concentration parallel with levels of quality, we're going to be a top side, because what we're doing against some of the top sides in this division is we're testing them big time. And, we've got it's a massively heavy championship squad, isn't it? Pascal Struijk has turned into a massive player for us, winning every header. I just thought he's absolutely fabulous. Elite. and I'll say this, I just think he's a wonderful footballer with a big, big future. Really impressed with him again last night, Pascal, winning everything, and he's growing. So yeah, I mean, the second goal, once again, Leeds losing their man. You saw it, the ball came in, and as I was just waxing lyrical about our set pieces, the ball's whipped in, and straight away Luke Ayling turns around with his head in his hands and walks off. That was probably the one that sent me into absolute loco mode, because it was just so easy. Such an easy goal for Everton, and it's gifted on a plate. And this is what I mean. If Everton completely outclasses, if they score a wonderful goal, fair play. Fair play. It's a brilliant goal. You deserve it. That's why you're a top 6, top 8, top 4 even team. But the fact that we gifted Everton 2 goals like that with the exact same mistakes, not following our men, it really was disappointing. It really was disappointing. But obviously, we'll just touch on the pitch a little bit as well. It was slipping and sliding everywhere. Marcelo Bielsa came out in his press conference last night, which I was editing today, and said that there's been no Everton. He started laughing and he said, well, why are Everton players not slipping on it then? And it's a good point. I mean, there were a couple of slips from Everton players, but it was nothing like Leeds. I mean, Alioski was going over every minute. Jack Harrison's slip led to the goal, didn't it? He was trying to do a crossfield ball, slipped. The ball didn't meet his man, and that's when they started countering, and that's when they gained on. They started moving towards Leeds' goal, and Dean crossed the ball in for Sigurdsson. So yeah, that was really, really disappointing. But I think the pitch is the same for both teams, and it is. And there's a marketable difference last night. You could see that there was a difference, the quality of the pitch, the zip on the pitch. But I don't know if it was because there wasn't a cover on it and it was absolute hailing it down in Yorkshire for the past sort of week or so. So I don't know if it was that. I don't know if the pitch was just heavily watered by the ground staff. I don't know. I'm not a grass expert, but there was a bit of a weird sort of concept with how it was, how the Leeds players just seemed to be doing the exact same things as they were doing on the previous pitch, which is slipping everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they need to just get rid of the blades. I don't know if they're wearing certain boots which are not, fitting that pitch, which can happen. So yeah, now let's talk about the second half, which was very, very good, on par with the Leicester second half, I think, or even the first half actually for Leicester. I thought we were absolutely brilliant second half. Came out and Everton, we have this surge, Leeds, where there's not a lot of teams that can deal with it. We have this surge, this momentum surge, and we did it against City really well. We did it against Liverpool for about 5 or 10 minutes, and we have this surge in us, and that came out against Everton, and Everton couldn't connect passes. They couldn't get out of their own half really in that second half, and it was just about keeping us out. And as I say, Robin Olsen, absolutely superb for Everton in the sticks. And as I've said earlier, Jordan Pickford's in for that game. We win that game, and I literally will say that just standardly about height as well. Because, when he's getting the foot, he's massive, Robin Olsen, absolutely massive. He's a big, big presence, clawing balls out of the top corner, which he did from Pascal Stroik's header, getting down really quickly, but spreading himself long. And there was a massive difference between him and Pickford, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, this is why I was so disappointed, and why last night I thought it was probably the most frustrating game of the season. A lot of people will say Brighton, and we performed way better yesterday, especially in that second half. But I think it was just the individual errors and the fact that, as I've just said, we're as good as they are. We are as good. We've shown it over 2 legs. I guess they've won one, we've won one, and there's just massive positives in what we're taking away from that game. And that ball comes to Tyler Roberts at the end, slapped over by Bamford. Great control by Roberts, does the hard part. And if he just has a bit of composure there, you got Ayling overlapping, or you've got to hit the target. And he hits it sweetly, but obviously it ended up in Beeston Park, I think. But yeah, it was encouraging, and I've watched it back today, and I am very happy with that second half. If we could have just translated that into the first half and carried on what happened at Leicester, we'd have won the game. We would have won that game. Obviously, there was questionable. There was a handball in there, which I thought we're very lucky to get away with. I don't really understand the handball rule anymore. The ball came over the top. Ayling's arm was out, and it hit his arm. It just hit his arm. So I don't know what the handball rule is anymore, so I think we got away with that one, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, let's get into some of your comments. A lot of people saying Raf is going nowhere. I've forgotten about Everton now, so let's move on. Yeah, that's a big thing. We have got to move on. We've got to move on. And Palace is a really good place to do that, isn't it? Stroke was fantastic. A lot of love from him. Sorry. During the watch along, you repeatedly said Click was 15 yards behind. I agree. Is he tired? Or can he play with the box-to-box style? I think we've got the wings sorted, just the centre-half needs sorting, says Jack. Yeah, I mean, I think I was saying it on the watch-along. There's something about him at this moment in time. I think it is, he's played a ridiculous amount of games for Leeds, and you've got to take that into context. But there's just something about him at the minute. He doesn't look tired. He just doesn't look on it. I don't know what it is. It's not just about him. You know, it's at the start of games when he's getting hold of the ball and misplacing passes, which you'd have never... you wouldn't have said that was in the same realm of Matty's Click. He never misplaces passes. He's normally so accurate. He's normally so precise. And we're seeing even at the start of games, you know, consistently in misplacing passes, him not really being up to speed. And I don't really know what that is. I think he is good enough for the Premier League, but, you know, can he sustain a Premier League season? We know the athleticism, we know the physical prowess, we know the demands of the Premier League is so much more. It's elite, isn't it? It's elite world football. It's the top level in global football. It's above any other league. So I'm not saying Click can't do it, but, you know, we also need a central midfielder who can perform like Raphinha does week in, week out. We need those levels if we are to get into the top 10. You know, we know the aim is to stay up in this division this year, but, you know, we're 11th right now, and we've got a threadbare squad. We've not got any centre-backs. Our centre-backs that we've bought. Rodrigo was out last night, which I think was a big one as well. I think weirdly we missed his energy when Click came on. I don't think we thought that was going to be a problem, because we saw Dallas in the midfield, who was brilliant at the weekend, but we did seem to miss Rodrigo. His turn of pace. I thought he was very, very good in that first game against Everton as well, and I thought we missed that dimension. Liam Dyke, friend of the channel, felt like Click second-guessed himself every time he has the ball and held it too long. I agree. And I thought, to be honest, Liam, I thought that was a big thing of the whole team. I don't know whether it just seems to be at Ellen Road. It seems like we're so much quicker away from home. It's 1-2 touch passing. You'll see the overlaps much more as well. Leeds will be bombing on dynamism on the flanks. It's so good. At home, it just seems to be, and I was saying this to my dad if you're watching the watch-along, it's 3, 4, 5 touches, then a pass. 3, 4, 5 touches, then a pass. That enables the opposition to regroup, especially Carlo Ancelotti's Everton, where they're just going to sit in banks and then look to counter-attack you. You know, we've got teams coming up at home like Crystal Palace, which will set up the exact same. So that swiftness, that movement, that, you know, that fluidity needs to drastically improve at home, especially when we've started the game, you know. So yeah, I think that sort of really needs to improve in the first half. So I think a lot of first halves at Ellen Road have been really poor. I think second halves we've come into it, which has been great. But yeah, guys, I mean that's it. That's it. I cannot believe I've been talking for 26 minutes. You've seen me licking my lips. It's because they're going dry. But you can always watch this on the watch back. The playback option if you've just joined. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, that would really help me. Obviously, I'm trying to get as much content out for you guys as I can. Obviously, I'm working every day as well, so it can be a bit difficult. And I am that one-man team, so any likes on the videos really help me and help me to understand that you're enjoying it. Please put your comments in as well. You'll notice on other videos, I'm always commenting back in the section below. I read every single comment. So please get your comments in the section below. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, guys. Have a lovely evening. Keep your chin up and we'll have your Palace stuff out very, very soon. Cheers.